We have a diamond Reinhardt play. So this is a diamond to plat game, and it seems like you're not queuing alone. You're queuing with two people, two low level accounts. The enemy has a couple of low level accounts as well, so we'll call this even if people are smurfing. Okay, so no complaining about that if you're queuing with low level accounts like that. Even though they might not be smurfs, you know. I'm always very suspicious of low level accounts. So, let's skip ahead to when the round actually starts. So you're playing Reinhardt. Actually, I should have talked about your team comp. It came up for a second. Oh, can I hold it up? Hold it. Okay. So, right off the bat, I really like your tank and support line, which is very meta. For 2-2-2, it's very, very meta. It's very good. Lucio with Reinhardt, Xayah, for me, is kind of a must because you want to give your Rein a mobility to really chase down targets and give the Rein the ability to disengage with speed. So speed is really crucial, and of course Ana provides a lot of healing, can support the Rein's aggression really well, and of course he's very easy to hit because he's so big. You just spam away at him. You need to nade him. You gotta nade him. So I really like that. And of course Xayah and Rein, classic combo. Bubble Rein, and your Rein can go ham with his aggression, and it just enables Rein so much. And of course, using Rein to get energy, your Xayah can get really pumped up. Your DPS line is actually okay, not ideal because it's kind of two people that don't really want to be set up with the team. So the damage coming from behind your shield is mostly from your Xayah, which isn't completely bad. It's just that now you have to choose your point of engagement very carefully because it's most likely that we want to set up around around this area that we want to fight at. So it's most likely that we will speed in and we'll do a very aggressive engage. So this is what I see from a team comp, and is what I feel like we should be playing. Of course, if you're playing dive, then of course everyone's on the same on the same plan. But in this case, I think it's okay for diamond to plat game to have this kind of team comp. So what I need from you is to play really aggressive to the point of engagement. And on Hollywood, at least for this kind of team comp, it depends on where your team wants to set up. But most likely you want to set up around the main choke, which is the archway, which is where you're standing right now. But that's a very nice place to set up. So we're about to see a nice fire strike towards their spawn, I think. Get some alt charge early, that's fine. Xayah going to get some early energy. And note that the Xayah is in your stack, so I'll talk a bit about your Xayah's coordination with you. So your Xayah bubbles you there for energy, which is not the worst thing, especially if nothing has happened quite yet. Ooh, you take so much damage from being headshot by a Hanzo, I believe. By the way, this VOD has actually, I want to talk about that a bit in a second, but this VOD has no sound, so unfortunately you're just gonna have to deal with just my voice. So that's that. So you back out here, you take a lot of damage. You can shield up right here and heal up. You don't have to keep backing and keep backing and keep backing. They don't have Lucio to chase you down. Oops, and I probably should have enabled Epic Pen so I could draw around, and I'll do that in a second. But well, at 15 seconds is where the team comp of the enemy is revealed. So right now, if you look at the clock up here, 19 seconds has passed, and you still don't know their entire team comp. Unless your team's been calling it and I just don't know because there's no sound. So we should call, when the 15-second mark hits, you press tab, everyone press tab, just have a look at what the team comp is and register in your mind what you can do versus them. So it's just more information for you. So let me just get up Epic Pen or Epic Games. That is, I've never watched any Fortnite video on this YouTube account, so interesting that they're recommending me Fortnite videos. So your Xayah actually double bubbles in a time where, well, I'll talk about your Xayah. So in my opinion, one, your Doomfist was set up around here. So your point, or rather your point of engagement is around here. Like when they cross this line, you want to take a fight here, and a little bit further to include this card. So around this box right now is where I think you should be fighting. So you didn't have to back out so far, even though you got hit shot, because your Ana will heal you up really quickly. They can't speed on you to really commit on you. So you had the speed to go in and out really easily. So anyway, you should have been set up to engage on this area. Your Doomfist, goes for the punch. It gets a bit greedy in my opinion with the shots and tries to walk up to uppercut or something. He gets flashed. And your Zaya double bubbles when you guys aren't really about to commit. So your Zaya bubbled a little bit too early, and of course maybe external he bubbled you wrongly or something. But yeah, the Zaya try to bubble a little bit later and have it not just to gain energy, but to actually protect your Rein and enable an action. And that's what I really like to see from Zaya bubbles, is that it enables something to happen. It enables your Rein to be aggressive, or it enables yourself as the Zaya to be really aggressive, or it enables you to escape. It just enables an action. That's what I like to see from Zaya bubbles. So anyway, Doomfist dies. Unfortunate. Right, shield hopping, and your shield is really healthy, so you can afford to shield up a little bit. Oh, that was actually a very nice bubble from your Rein, but the Hanzo kind of pops off and destroys your backline right past you, which is unfortunate. So in my opinion, part of that fight was kind of lost because we weren't taking a fight where we want to, which is like I said before, at the arch we want to play really aggressive because we have two flankers. And in a just straight up poke battle, they have a McCree and they have a Hanzo and even a Zen. So our goal is definitely to be far more aggressive and engage on them. In a just passive poke battle, they'll definitely win out. Eventually their Hanzo will get a pick like he just did. Then McCree will do a lot more damage to our shield, so we'll lose the shield war as well. However, if we rush into them quickly, it's more likely our DPS will get to do what they want to do. So your positioning was really passive, personally, from what I've seen. On to the next fight, we lose 0.1, which is unfortunate. The good thing about losing early though is that everyone spawns far up, well, except the Zaya, which is a little bit unfortunate, so you might want to not hold so close. Lucio should taxi, but it's not Lucio's VOD, it's your VOD. So you playing here passively, waiting for poke is a little bit risky from your team, just because they have Hanzo and McCree. And like I said, you guys are running the risk of getting picked by these long range characters, while your short range characters, they really want to get in. So we want to stay hidden. You want to stay hidden and engage on them with the speed. So in my opinion, actually your team comp, both of your team comps are not stronger or weaker than each other. Not stronger or weaker than each other. In fact, your team comp might be actually slightly better in this part of the map. So we should play it a little bit as such. We should play to our team comp's strengths. So anyway, I neglected to talk about this. So we set up here. We're ready. Okay, so here is where your awareness kind of, well, not your awareness, your alt usage. Okay, so the bubble was a little bit early, but this was a great wall. Smack, shatter. Alright. And they use graph. Alright, not the worst. If they use resources to get past here, and that's actually not so bad. And did you just get shatter at that point in time? Or did you have shatter for a while? You had shatter the whole time. I see, and you got McCree stunned, chained into. You just got McCree stunned and then killed. Alright. So actually that's fine because they use their combo, their wombo combo, right? So it's not so bad. So you just using shatter and trading it for that, not the worst. But we could have used 0, but it's not so bad. So anyway, we are regrouping behind this choke, and I think that's really good. All right, we had to use bubble to get out. Shield hopping, very nice shield hopping. All right, so there I want to praise you for something. You did a good thing because one, I don't know if you did this on purpose, of course, but because there's no sound. But you got bubbled earlier. And now he gets bubbled, and you realize that if you just engage on him now, you'll lose because you don't have a bubble. So you back out, you shield hop back out, and that's really good. And you punished him because he overextended with the bubble. And I'm not I learned this from a couple of coaches, one being Jane, the other being John Galt. Why do great coaches start with the letter J? Sorry, Deepak. The way John Galt described Rein versus Rein is like an ocean wave. And I think it's a really, really good analogy because exactly like an ocean wave, Rein versus Rein is kind of a push and pull of taking space, and it of course includes the bubbles. And Jane explained this in a VOD. I'll try my best to explain it as well as he did. So in Rein versus Rein, imagine the screen right now is not the screen as it is. So if this is Rein, how do I draw a Rein? There we go. Alright, sure. This is Rectangle Man versus let's do red. Let's do other Rectangle Man. So if blue man pushes initially with bubble, while I missed the bubble completely. If he pushes in with bubble and then red man backs, so now blue man will be over here, very near, and red man will be a little bit back, maybe around here. So this is 2. Oh, oops. This is 2. This is 2. Oh, I wish I could 1. Oh no, I'm messing up. This is 1. There we go. Okay, so it's a push and pull, and then when the bubble expires from blue man will be overextended. The blue Rein will be overextended, and then you guys can push back with. Oh my goodness, I keep clicking the wrong color. And you guys can push back with bubble. The red Rein can push back with bubble, and then blue Rein has to back. And based on that, it can be at any point of this. A full-on commitment can be made, depending on a whole plethora of other scenarios, such as other cooldowns from other characters when you get a pick, or your Doomfist is making space in the backline, your Genji is harassing the backline, and all that. So this relationship between you and both Zayas, both Reins and both Zayas, is a pull and push. So if you recognize that they have bubble and you don't, it is definitely correct to back off. So that was actually well done. And you pushed back when the bubble expired and you killed their Rein. And it is a great... What a great Blizzard. Managed to clinch the fight with... I believe you guys used 1 ult? And that was very well done. Oh, you guys used beat as well. Oh, that's actually not bad. 2 ults to win a fight is... Of course, using 1 ult to win a fight is great. 2 ults is okay, acceptable. 3 ults is a little bit pushing it and overusing. So far, I like what I see. So your aggression in that fight just now was good, as opposed to the first fight where you were really, really passive. So right now, okay, I already noticed that. Hang on your screen. I guess I can back more so I can show you. You notice you should always take note of their Rein, and you do see this. It is of course on your screen, so you see that the Rein goes to the left. You see his health bar go to the left. And when you push back up, you notice that the Rein is not there. So where can the Rein be? And you last saw the Rein. Oh man, blue is really not the color to use. So you saw the Rein go here. So as he can be somewhere in somewhere in the alley, somewhere near Mega at the elevator, right? So in a second, oops, I clicked the wrong one. In a second you'll see. He catches you off guard, and based off sound cues, I don't know this because the VOD has no sound. You probably should have heard the Rein's footsteps from the left, unless he was crouch walking. You should have heard him from the left, and you should have been able to, you should have been aware of that, is what I'm trying to get at. And to be aware of it, you have to notice where the enemy Rein is by looking and inferring from the information that you see. So especially in Rein versus Rein, where you playing the game of chicken with the other Rein, the most important person for you to take note of is the other Rein. So of course Rein v Rein, very key battle, and he really outplayed you here. So he shatters you from the side, and they kind of destroy. And you use Grav, which is not great. Using a Grav and losing the fight, not so good. Every time you guys have Grav, especially a combo like Grav and Blade, it should be an instant fight win. So anyway, we rush out a little bit too gung-ho, because you guys still have time. Look at how much, not only on this, but you can actually see the distance. There's still some time for the payload to it's still some time for the payload to travel. So you pushing out right now is a little bit of staggering, because they have their whole team alive and you only have your Genji, and I think one more person we'll see in a second. Yeah, your Lucio, your Ana's hiding over there. So you get pinned and you guys stagger. So you guys should have gotten a fight on the on this part of the map, but you don't get it because you stagger. So the way this map is played is hang on, let me replay it so we can get a look at it. Okay, so if they win a fight in higher ranks, the tanks will camp these small doorways, and of course the DPS will be close behind while the supports push the cart. So the supports will be on cart, the tanks will be holding this door, and the DPS will be right here by these letters, indicated by these letters. And if they have a diva or something of a mobile tank, they might be looking at the other side, the other door that is behind the Rein right now, behind you right now. So normally where you want to regroup is definitely behind this doorway, but not even that, because they can push past and kill you, especially if your team hasn't fully regrouped. So usually we'll regroup in the hallway right before we push out, or we regroup really together in spawn before we push out. So there was a kind of a regrouping issue. So next time, be careful and take note that next time you're on Hollywood, this is where people want to set up, and this is where you should set up if you do win a fight on Street's Face. So don't make it easy for them to push through this door. It's kind of like what happened to you, right? You had to use bubble to push out through the door. So this is how people choke you on this part of the map. It's really, really good. So you get pinned and you die because you're just not grouped up, not as 6 yet. So there was actually some time the payload, still had some time to travel. So however now it's even worse, because now we get the forward spawn, and this is not a good forward spawn. Alright, we charge out, very nice. So right here we definitely want to get out as as soon as possible. Your Ana kind of stayed, I guess if I can point it out again, your Ana stayed to, they use Grav, which is like their huge mistake. So your Ana stays to try and help them out, and you back out and you die, and you keep shielding to stagger yourself, and you even get bubbled, so that staggers even longer. Hopefully your Zaya doesn't die, does he? Oh goodness, So your Saya staggers again. So that's obviously not very good. When and you'll notice, so far I'll speak about what I want to say a little bit later on, but you'll see that the payload has traveled this distance. The door has opened from the previous point, so actually it's more of maybe this distance entirely for free, and where you should have gotten 2 fights, now you get 0 fights just because of that very long stagger. So next time, if you want to, if you don't have a choice and you have to die, try to die on cut, because when you die on cut, as long as you are alive, the payload is not moving, and the rest of your team has, they have to get rid of you, right? The enemy team has to get rid of you to move the card, so they're gonna be placing a lot of importance on you in getting rid of you, so your team can have some time to get away if they can. If they can't, they should die on cut too. So dying on cut, something that should have happened if you couldn't get away. And the enemy actually did a really good job chasing you guys, taking all that they could. Excuse me. So right here now we shield, and again I already see a problem. I like that you guys that you moved up to the high ground. If you wanted to engage from there with your Doomfist, you can drop on their backline. You choose to drop down, which is also fine, to take space. You see their Zarya. You see their Zarya shoot from here just now. I can go back and we can play it again. And also you notice the Reinhardt. I believe this is the Reinhardt right here. So you should be careful. And this is information on your screen. So we should notice such things and take note of it. Consciously take note of where the other Rein is. And this is a important thing that I guess I'll say right now. Actually, I can say it in a second. So you do see the Rein on your left, and he appears again on your screen all the way on the left. And he actually shatters someone. He doesn't shatter you though. He gets. I think he gets your Lucio. And you kind of panic shatter, but because you realize it might be the last fight and you might be the clutch. So I don't think this shatter was, too that bad, all things considered. But it could have been a waste. It is a mistake, but it's not a massive game throwing mistake. Excuse me. So you switch to Hammond. He's a fine stall hero. Slam. Very nice. 30% alt charge right from that. You use the shield. Alright. And you get out. So right here is a little bit of a mistake where the health pack is right here and you can just go and take it. Oops, let me move this cable away from the mic. The health pack is right here, and you kind of don't want to be changing direction and staying still, because when a pendulum swings, which is exactly what the hamster is being right now. When you do this, you will be very still. Actually, I don't know why I need to draw it. I can just play the video and you'll see. So I'll back right now. So you back, and you are very still and very easy to hit when you hook and you intend to swing back without changing direction. So in my opinion, you should have committed into this direction, go up the stairs, take the health pack, and then come back for the swing, which would have definitely given you time for your slam to come back off cooldown. You can stall even more time. So anyway, let's go on. Let's just Hammond play, but we'll go back to Rein. It's just kind of panic stalling, so not so important in this VOD. And you lose you lose the fight. Three points capped for the enemy with some time, I believe 3 minutes remaining. Yeah, 2 minutes and 59 seconds remaining, which is actually a really good time for the opponents to have. And a lot of that was because you only got one well, not even really, one fight on third, you guys kind of got destroyed, kind of got rolled from the second half of second all the way to the end. Kind of got rolled from there. Your first point was actually also a bit of a roll because of the choice of the positioning and the zone of engagement, and you didn't know where you guys should have engaged. Excuse me. So anyway, now Josiah switches to DPS. Now it's no longer in your stack, so I'll speak less about Josiah. I know it's not, it's not his VOD, but it's your VOD. I mean, you're still on the Rein, so that's good. Let's skip ahead. Alright, so unfortunate, people get picked right out the door. That happens. But it's not that big of a deal, all things considered, just because, just 10 seconds you respawn, you're right there. So your team is peeking the... I think your Ana really wants to support the Genji, so that's why he's peeking so aggressively. So I think our whole team is back, so it's actually okay to push up at around... maybe not... I clicked back a bit. Maybe it's okay to push right about now, especially because your Genji is going for an engagement. I mean, he's doing it a little bit too early, but oh well. It's ranked. What are you going to do? So this passive play right now, you kind of have a choice of whether you want to just commit without the Genji, or get out. In my opinion, standing still and feeding more alt charge and trying to be, basically doing nothing is really bad, just because they have a McCree on high ground and he can do a lot of damage to your shield, and you guys will lose the shield wall because your DPS is Genji and McCree, and they kind of have a better positioning, especially with the McCree on high ground, and he can really do a lot from there. Basically, you have to shield, whereas the Rein can kind of control the engagement with this corner around the arch better. This corner, so his shield is in general going to be a little bit more healthy in a poke battle across the choke. So you get bubbled, and of course when you get bubbled, you kind of want to not shield and just go. You just walk in without shielding, and you want to swing, but now it's not Josiah. You get evaporated because you get flashbang from above, and this is something that you need to be careful of, especially because no threat is really right. It's going to come from this half, the part where I'm shading. So it's okay to angle your shield more like hang on, let me erase that. Okay to angle your shield more like this, so you can not control, but shield yourself from the McCree and his potential flashbang, and all of these guys who will be doing a lot of damage to you. The Reinhardt pushing up here is not really that important, since you can't shield any of his kit. You can't shield charge, fire strike, or his hammer. Only thing you can shield is his earth shatter, which actually might be up, but unlikely, because he didn't really get to swing on you guys. It was the rest of his team are killing you guys. So you die because of the flashbang, and you definitely should have been careful of that and angled your shield appropriately to not make it so easy for the McCree to flash you. And especially in that time, I don't think you had your Genji quite set up yet to deal with the McCree. Alright, you guys get Graph though, so you guys lose this fight. And losing a fight to Graph Dragon is perfectly fine. You are okay with this. Especially if you guys didn't spend anything, but unfortunately you spend your shatter. So far your 3 shatters have kind of been used when you die and haven't been really as impactful as the opponent's shatters. So you get nanoed really early, for some reason. Anyway, by the way, I guess we'll start with good news. Good news is I like that you identified that the Hanzo is out of position, and you go and get him. So that's really good. The Hanzo doesn't really have a great escape. His leap, although it's some form of mobility, it's not going to save him from a Nano Rein boosted by Lucio. However, you get charged here, which, greater mechanics might have allowed you to, kill the Hanzo and react to the charge and counter charge. But it's not so, not that important. I won't criticize too much. But it is a possibility. Beat used, was it needed at this point? Possibly to secure the fight. Not so bad. Ooh, the McCree gets a huge high noon actually. Excuse me again. Alright, so you settle. You kill you kill the Zen, so this is very good. So you get bubble. Alright, a little bit early. So right now, you can just play on point where you were right there, and just play gatekeeper to the point, because you're not in a rush to kill them. You've already won the fight. Now you should play a gatekeeper and stay alive, because the only way you guys lose this is if you guys kind of make mistakes. And right now, your mistake, you overextended a little bit on one side, so you gave space on this cafe side in favor of taking space outside. So this allowed their team to push in really freely, because your team doesn't have a shield to spam in to the cafe, while their team has their Ryan shielding, and they can spam out at them, so you guys can't respond in kind. So right there was a little bit of a mistake that did cost you your life. So it's not a little bit, it's fairly big mistake. But we use even more alts. We use Blade and we secure the fight. But I think the fight was already won, so it's a small mistake, I suppose, in terms of impact on the game. But could have been more costly in another situation. Or rather, more costly in a similar situation where the enemy, maybe it's a higher rated game, or they had ultimates or something. And then the Hanzo gets a pick on your honor, which is unfortunate. So you guys win the fight over here, and let me back a little bit more. So when you guys win the fight, you guys should push up and take space. Push up to take space, and when they come, you can back off accordingly from there. So rather than giving them all the space to begin with. So basically, you don't want to make it easy for them. You want to slow down you want to slow them down getting back, so that you can get more card distance, and of course spam to get a little bit more alt charge as we get back. So you are playing a fairly passive position right now. I'd recommend maybe you even push all the way up here, and then when they push up to you, you can back and you can back and you can back, while looking for opportunities to to commit on them to win the fight. Especially because you guys have the Lucio, where you can move around really fast, compared to them, because they don't have a Lucio, they have Anna Zenyatta. So for example, if you were pushed up right now and you realize they've got a pick on your Ana, you can, with your Lucio, speed back, and it would have been perfectly fine, and you guys would definitely not have died. But he does pick you guys, so you guys back out. So as you can see, your positioning right now is passive, such that your teammates, your Xayah, your Lucio, and even to some extent your Genji is in front of you. So your Reinhardt positioning right now is really passive, and you definitely should be in front, and you should trust your teammates to support you, and trust your Lucio to speed you back. So it's a little bit passive. Whoop, what's going on? Oh, okay, there we go. Had to load or something. So yeah, and your team actually finds an opportunity even though you are providing literally no value by standing where you were, so they were actually forced to go back. So your McCree gets a pick, and they are gonna back off. And if you were further up, you could have capitalized much sooner. And right now, in this very instance, not only could you have capitalized sooner, you're shielding for not really much reason. You could have been there sooner, basically, and provided your value there. So you're just missing out on opportunities to protect your teammates and take space. So remember what I said earlier, you should be looking to hold near the door, camp them, which is what your Zaya is doing. There we go, very nice. Definitely gatekeep right now. Gatekeep, alright, you guys kept the point, very nice. So that was good positioning, gatekeeping that door. Oops, you get hooked. Thank goodness you have bubbles, shit yourself out. So right there, when you won the fight, you definitely can afford to push up and take space for the same reasons like I stated above. You take space, you slow down, you get card push, and you can potentially deny them an entire fight if you can stagger them. So in my opinion, from here, let's see, you get hooked and maybe you can't stagger them, especially since the Genji's up there. He might be able to just dash combo you. You definitely should have held your ground up there, in my opinion. You would have not made it so easy, and your DPS can spam, your DPS and your Zaya can spam them on the way back. So let's talk about that shatter. The Rein is kind of right in front of you, and you opt to shatter. So, and he's hard shielding too. Excuse me. You kind of don't want to rush your shatter. Remember what I said earlier, it is more important for you to block shatters than it is to land your own shatter. So you don't have to be in a rush to use your ult. You kind of want to use it, you know, not at their rhyme. You kind of want to play it such that, you know, you shatter them from the side, kind of like what he did. You want to make it difficult for them to block your shatter. Or you want to use your shatter in a situation where the Rein maybe is facing the wrong way. He's distracted with a flanker in the back for some reason, which Rein shouldn't be distracted by flankers in the back. They need to hold the front, which is kind of what happened on the first point. So he shatters you because I think you try to go for a fire strike, and he catches you, and that could be, you know, his really good reaction. Although I think it's more of a kind of a bit of a a bit of luck, because honestly on both ends, both shatters would have been blocked by higher rated players. So even if they were in the same positions, just based off of mechanics and decision making in that moment. So yeah, Ana's a little bit pushed up. Anyway, I like this helping of killing the Genji. He is a priority because, you know, he's really hard to hit. So you go after him. Very nice. You get the kill. Alright, you're prioritizing the card right now, which is what I really like. In terms of whether you should have pushed up, the hog was kind of a priority to handle, so not so bad. In fact, it's not so bad. It's pretty good that you are handling the hog. Very nice. Prioritizing the card. Prioritize anything that's on the card is what you should do near the end. Prioritize the card. Alright, we have a slam. I don't think you need to use it. There we go. There we go, slam. So far what I can tell is that your mistakes are that your shatter usage is not based off of setup. You just try to outplay the enemy Rein. So one thing that you should remember, and it's a very good saying because I said it, is great plays come from great setups for the plays. not from, great mechanics, although great mechanics helps. Great plays come from great setup is kind of what I want you to remember. Great dives from, London Spitfire, one of the best dive teams. Their dives are really, really well set up, which is why their dives go so well. It's not that they are insane plays. Well, it is because they're insane plays, but it's also because their setup is so good. And at that high level is, the difference in setup makes a really big difference compared to the individual mechanics of the players, because, at such a high level, they're so close to each other. The setup is where the difference is made. So even in ranked, and you can set up very simply. For example, you're just hiding out of line of sight, waiting for them to walk past, and you shatter them. That's a setup, and that's a great setup to use when you have shatter. So in the next time, try to set up for a shatter, and you can instantly win a fight without fighting. You get to win before the fight begins. So try to set up for shatter and push up to take space. That's the next point I was trying to make. You tend to be really afraid of pushing up and taking space, even though your team comp is really well built for, I'll be really happy to play Rein if I have a Zaya and a Lucio on my team. I know that I can be aggressive, and if things don't go so well, I can back up with the speed really, really easily, and there is no problem. Especially if the other team doesn't have a Lucio to chase me down. So we don't have to think about the cooldown of amp or anything. We just straight up outspeed them almost all the time. So we can choose our engagements much easier. Alright, so now you're pushing aggressively, and I like this. I see that you're going in and out, holding shield, holding your ground. So that was actually quite well done. Even if you die here, excuse me. Even if you die here, it's actually not so bad. You actually did a lot in that fight, holding space, kiting aggro. So let's look at it again. Why was this good? So all the way back. There we go. Let's start from here. This is ISF bubbles. They use bubble. You push up to him. You shield. You aggro. Maybe I would have done one less swing, but that's really micro. In general, you being this aggressive, when you get damaged, you back off, you heal up, and you go back in. So that is exactly what I want to see from Rein plays, is seeing this ocean wave. You aggress on them, and they aggress on you, you back. And you slowly outvalue them that way. Just with smarter, playing this ocean wave better. This dynamic better. The opponents have a Hanzo and an Ashe. Very, very interesting. They kind of want to play for picks, so you engaging into them hard and fast is definitely very nice. Definitely more advantageous for you than it is for them. So this is again what I was talking about. You feel like as the Reinhardt, as the main tank, you have to be the one on the payload. You have to be the one to get goal objective time, and that's just simply not the case. You should have pushed up and held space for your team, and it is, like I said earlier, you can move back. You can move back very easily because you have Lucio and they don't, and you can charge your ults and all that good stuff. Basically, you are in no danger if you push up right there and hold the space for your team. In fact, the only people in danger right now are your teammates, and they would be completely safe if you push up and be the shield for them. So be their shield. You should be the front line. Most of the time, like 90% of the time, no one should be in front of you. A very ambitious charge. And a great shatter. And a great anti from the Anna. You get slapped. Alright. So what could have gone better? When you get antied, you get this kill. In my opinion, you should have. Well, hindsight is 2020. You probably should have backed out at that point, or your Lucio should have beat it sooner, like you just did. But actually, it's not that bad. You did take a lot of damage really quickly, even while nanoed. So your team clutches up. Actually, that wasn't that big of a mistake, especially since you did kill that Rein. I'll say that was actually pretty good. I take back what I said about it being a mistake. Not so bad at all. So now that you're back, there wasn't really time to camp the door, so I'll let you off the hook on this one. You turn your shield away from the enemy Rein. So remember what I said before. It's more important to block shatters than it is to land your own, but may not have been possible. They kind of dropped the bomb of ults right there, so you may not have won, but I would have liked to see a blocked shatter, you know. So I suppose that's another thing that you aren't really doing that well so far, because that's 3 times, I believe, so far that he has shattered you. 3 or 4 times that he has shattered you, and you were not able to block. And it might be because you don't realize that he has shatter. So start by, I think at Diamond you can start learning how to alt track, and you can just start really slowly. I guess I'll pause and talk about alt tracking. You can start alt tracking really slowly by tracking your counterpart. So whatever role whoever's watching, you can just track your counterpart. And a very easy way to tell if they have alt is if you have alt. So the only difference might be if maybe you lost 2 fights in a row, they haven't used their alt, it is likely that they have their alt. Or if the fight was really even and it was really long and you have your alt by the end of it and they haven't used it, you might want to say, hey, this other guy, in this case you are the Rein, you might say their Rein has shatter. And you saying it out loud not only tells your team, but it also, you know, tells yourself, it reminds yourself. So you can start trying to track one person's alt, and that's your counterpart. So you just start from there, and of course over time you can start tracking multiple people, especially if they haven't used their alt in the previous fight, or they haven't used it 2 fights in a row. Usually there's a near 100% that they have their alt, unless they were getting like picked immediately in the beginning of the fight. So for you, just start by tracking the enemy Rein's alt, and I believe that for every time you had alt, he had alt too. So you can start by alt tracking for sure. I'll sum up all the things I mentioned about your play at the end. Let's skip this. Standing right here, going for early alt charge. Alright, we play around the arch. Now you notice they have dive. Now it's very different. So you stand around here. Alright. Charge their Winston. He gets destroyed because of a very nice wall by your Mei. So what you did was not too bad. Positioning was pretty good. Holding the shield for your team, very nice. Your Mei gets a very nice pick. Ooh. Fire strike out. Alright, so in my opinion, you definitely should be pushing up at the choke. Because look, your teammates are in front of you. You should definitely be there with them to hold the choke. Especially because you giving them this space allows their Winston to stage a dive. He can just peek out here and he can jump to the high ground. Of course, he can do that from the main choke very easily. But it allows him to jump this angle all the way to your backline very easily. You're basically giving them a lot of space, which I don't think you have to give. I think you can be really aggressive and then back out when appropriate, because you do have the Lucio. But fighting on point is not that bad either, considering they, honestly aren't setting up very well. I'm not gonna lie. they aren't diving your backline kind of together. So definitely can stand to be far more aggressive. And you being kited by the tracer, this should never be the case. You should never have to turn back for the tracer. It is kind of not your job. And you trying to do this, you're trying to go beyond your job and abandoning your post at the front line. This allows, you know, them to just come in for free and destroy destroy you guys. Very nice shatter. Wow, 30% off of that one charge. So you funnel back in here, which well, I think the fight might have been lost by now. But I think funneling into that choke kind of made it so that it's really hard to push out again. Because especially you guys were down the Ana, so I think the fight was lost. But going back in and having to push through that choke is difficult. But anyway, your team's stalling anyway. Hopefully you guys can get an early fight on the second point, or your team just clutches up by using ults. Alright, actually your Mei is doing really well. And apparently the Ashe is too. Swing, that's a huge anti. And just shield up. And you can push up, you can stand a push up right there. Yep, you can definitely stand a push up. You kind of back because you're on fire, you're bubbling. I mean, you got bubbled, you're being really passive right now. You guys lose the fight. I don't think you get forward spawns. Your team doesn't get forward spawns, so it's time to regroup a little bit. Shield up. Very nice. So I'm not sure if this was communicated. It might have been. So if your Xayah intended to grab right here, it's definitely it was definitely the time for you to push up and be ready to capitalize on that. So the grab is kind of for nothing. In fact, they might not even have needed to trance, but it forced that out. So good shield on the bomb. There should be no way you guys lose this. I would bet $1 million that you guys win this fight. Swing, prioritize people on the cart. Very nice. Standing on the cart and just swinging away. Because they have to be on the cart because over time. And you guys win. Very nice. So to repeat again, your main mistake is you don't push up to hold space, and it makes it really easy for the enemy to push in and, you know, catch up to you guys, and you guys get less, or rather you guys have to fight more to win, and the enemy has to fight less. So on payload maps, you want to, it depends on if you're on attack or defense. If you're on attack, you want to fight as little as possible and win, while on defense you want to force as many fights as possible to stall the clock, because on defense, you know, you just want to waste time, and if you can full hold, you know, you full hold, but your goal is to waste as much time and give yourself as much of a time advantage as possible should it happen that both teams reach the end. So pushing up and holding space is something you should consciously start to do, and keep track of the position of the opposing Rein, because every time you lose track of him, you know, he had shatter and he brought it down, and your team just instantly lost the fight. So it's really key to keep track of him, and of course start trying to track the opposing Rein's ult. So that's just 3 things. I focus on one at a time, and in my opinion, you can start just by pushing up to, you know, hold space for your team, and you can just back out as you need to. And if you queue with these 2 guys very often, especially if you queue for Lucio, I love queuing with if I play main tank, which I don't, but if I did play main tank, I love queuing for Lucio. I love queuing for Xayah, because, you know, in my stack we can coordinate stuff much easier. So you can hold space and zoom back. So don't make it easy for the enemy to push up at you, and hold chokes. So what you were doing is kind of not really holding chokes. You let them walk past the choke a little bit too easily. You're not making it hard for them. You're not making them have to use resources to push past the choke. The next thing is just ult tracking of the enemy Rein. So use your own ult as a tool for tracking the opposing Rein's ult. So if you're near your ult, you can safely assume that he is also near his ult, or he has his ult. Especially, you know, you can adjust that based on whether you won the previous fight or lost the previous fight, or how early the Rein died. So it takes a little bit of practice, and there are other videos of how you can start to ult track. But start by using your own ult. So I think that's enough for this Rein VOD. I think you can just focus on these 3 things. Once again, holding space, ult tracking, and keeping track of the other Rein in every Rein. So the 2 things I said which are very important for Rein versus Rein is the ocean wave thing, which you did very well at one point actually. And it is more important to block shatters than it is to land your own shatter. So that's it for the VOD. I hope you learned something, and see you in Masters, I suppose.